Hello everyone, welcome back to our series where me and Sprotki are guiding you through the rules of MTG. Previously we learned about how cards look like, and today we will learn about how to play them. In Magic the Gathering, unlike many modern card games, your deck needs to include the resources generating cards. These resources are called mana, and you get them from the lands. I included a couple of these things of all different types and varieties, so we can go through all of the different things that come up. Planes, as we can see here and here, name and the subtype, are associated with white mana, so they can produce white mana only. Island is associated with blue, swamp is with black, mountain is with red, and forest with green. As we previously explained, your deck can contain any number of basic lands of your choosing. Every other land, which are not basic lands, are called non-basic lands. These non-basic lands can come in different shapes and sizes and varieties. As you can see, some of them can produce multiple different types of mana, not just the one. Example, this Rustwell Bridge is, when you use it, you can produce red or white mana with it. Just like this Alpine Meadow, you can produce red and white. This one is an interesting inclusion here, because it also has the basic subtypes, but it's not a basic land. The most interesting one out of the lands, non-basic lands, is, for example, this Evolving Wilds. As we can see here, it cannot produce any mana at all. But it has an additional ability which helps us to get through a basic land from our deck into play directly. So, as you can see here, all sorts of different and interesting stuff can happen when we talk about lands. When we talk about numbers, your deck needs to include, as a guideline, about 40% of lands. So in a 60 card deck, around 24, in a 40 card deck, 16, 17, you get the idea. Important to know that these are only guidelines, right? So just like with everything in Magic, you don't have to stick with them if you don't want to. Once you get a bit more experience, once you know how you like to play the game, you can always experiment with these mana numbers, with these different values, and see what works for you and what doesn't. So, let's see a couple of examples. Again, in the previous video we explained the mana value of a card, the numbers and symbols combined. So, in order to play this Friendly Rivalry card, you have to play 2 mana. One of them has to be red and one of them has to be green. In order to indicate that you are using your lands for getting mana, you have to tap them. This little symbol here. So if you do this with a land, that indicates that you tapped it. We assume, or it's nice to announce, that you are using it for getting mana. It's important that if you have a land like these two, the Rustwell Bridge and the Alpine Meadow, which can tap for 2 different, I can bring it a bit closer, can tap for 2 different colors of mana, right? So technically they have 2 abilities, you have to choose one. It is always nice to announce which one you use, so it's more clearer for the opponent as well. But back to the cards. So it's cost 1 red and 1 green. So in order to cast it, we have to tap 1 for red and 1 for green to cast it. Right? It's nice and easy. And we go to the next step. What happens if on a card it has symbols and numbers? The symbol indicates the red mana. The numbers indicate something called generic mana. And you can pay generic mana cost from any land which can produce mana. So it doesn't have to be the specific color. It can be any color or even colorless. In order to cast this Olokhai Crusher, we need to tap 4 mana. One of them has to be red. Let's say we use a Rustwell Bridge for red. And we use this, plains, this island, this swamp to cast it. That's 4, right? Okay, next example. Gandalf the Grey. It costs 3, a blue and a red. Therefore, just like previously with Friendly Rivalry, 2 of them has to be specific. So one of them has to be red. We use the Alpine Meadow for red, and we use the island for blue. And we need 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. This is how I cast it. Our next step is a card called Lash of the Balrog, which, if we read our text box, has an additional cost to cast the spell. Originally it's only cost 1 black mana, so it looks good, but then there is an extra cost to pay, or which can be all sorts of different things. In this example, we can either sacrifice a creature or pay 4 extra generic mana, right? So we will see both of these versions. Let's say we have an Olokai Crusher, and we want to cast this Lash of the Balrog, right? So we pay the 1 black, and sacrificing is when a creature is in play, you have to put it into your graveyard, just like when it dies from damage. So if we want to cast the Lash of the Balrog this way, then this guy has to go to our graveyard, and then we cast it. Or alternatively, we can pay 1 swamp for the black mana, and we can also pay 4 more. So as you can see, the game developed and we got more and more mana in our thing. So in order to cast a spell, as we can see, again bring it closer so you guys can see as well, we need 4 blue mana and X generic mana, right? So we have to tap the 4 blue and X. Now what is X? X is any number of your choosing. So that's the only thing which stops you from using it or effectively is how much mana you can spend on it. So this card costs 4 blue and X. If we want to use it for its maximum effect, with the current lands we have in play, X will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. In order to do that, we have to tap it for 7. Right? And then X will be 7. Normally, cards with X cost in them are getting better the more mana you spend on them. But because of the cases that you need your mana for something else further on, it is customizable. So you can pay this example, we paid 7 mana. So the ability will be for 7 effects. Where it says here, as you can see, bring it back again, draw X cards. So the number of cards we're gonna draw is how much generic mana we spent on it after the 4. So if we want to, we can draw 7 cards. Or if we want to, we can just say, no, we only want to use it for 3, because the 3 cards we're gonna draw, we might want to play. This is how you cast your spells. One more thing, sometimes cards do not have a mana value associated with them. For example, our lands, right? That means that their mana value is then 0. That's about it for casting your spells. And stay tuned for the next one, where we will go into more deep dive in what the cards actually do in the game. As always, if you like what we are doing here, don't forget to subscribe. If you feel like we left something out or something is not 100% clear, let us know in the comments so we can help you out with these things. After all, the purpose of this series is to help people, and hopefully they will enjoy it and join us. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.